What's up, everybody? My name's Bryn. I'm the Full Metal Analyst. This is my out-of-theater reaction for Jurassic World Rebirth. I got my Jurassic Park shirt, my T-Rex cup, and this movie I was so hyped for when it first got announced. And let me just say, stepping out of the theater, what the f***?
That wasn't much of an introduction.
Alright, so before we get into my thoughts on this movie, I just want to say that I was pretty optimistic after hearing from a lot of people that this movie brought back the horror elements to the franchise. Despite that, I didn't really expect them to start this movie out with a scene straight from Final Destination. After watching that Snickers wrapper float around and cause so much mayhem, I knew I'd have some opinions coming out of this movie. And to some degree, I do agree that this movie had some potential with some of the dinosaur sequences, but those were the biggest positives of the movie, and I've got to admit, I'm still pretty mixed to negative, which is tough because I really love this franchise and I went in feeling super hyped. So with that being said, let's get into the breakdown.
Yeah, more like a mental breakdown.
Let's start with the positives. The dinosaur scenes in this movie were mostly great. There was some real suspense on the river sequence, and the D-Rex was pretty terrifying, even though now we kind of have a Rancor from Star Wars and Jurassic World universe. In some parts, I actually felt a slight sense of danger again, which is something this franchise hasn't nailed in a while. But my favorite scene by far was the one with the Titanosaurs. They did a great job showing off their scale, and pairing it with the Jurassic Park score hit with the wave of nostalgia, in a good way. And that singular moment reminded me of why I fell in love with this franchise in the first place. But no, it does not capture the same level of suspense from the first movie.
Gotta get out of here. Gotta get out of here. Now, right now.
Jurassic Park was great in the sense that multiple tense moments were happening all at once and back to back. We have the iconic T-Rex sequence that leads directly into the car crashing down the tree, that leads directly into the racing to get away from the T-Rex again. I mean, that whole movie was edge-of-your-seat suspense. In Rebirth, I did enjoy some of the suspense once the characters get to the facility. It finally felt like they were leaning back into the horror elements, which is what they've been promising for a while. And honestly, it's sad to say, but that's about all I have good to say about this movie. Which brings me to the negatives, and unfortunately, there is a lot to talk about here. The first 40 minutes of this movie could have been left out and it would have not impacted the story at all. The pacing was sluggish, the dialogue was genuinely cringeworthy, and I don't know why they felt the need to over-explain everything to us. It got exhausting fast, and honestly, I wish I could have just muted the first half of the film. The jokes didn't land, the characters were flat, and I was sitting there wondering when the actual movie was going to start. For 40 minutes.
One eternity later.
This whole thing could have just kicked off with the family in the sailboat scene. And I think that would have worked so much better. Just drop us into the world and let us figure it out as we go. But in the sense of the overall franchise, my biggest issue with Rebirth is the way that it actually treats the dinosaurs. And no, I don't mean in a humanitarian sense.
Okay, it's fair enough.
I'm talking about how it actually ties directly to the writing. Why are they so committed to this idea that the world is tired of dinosaurs now? Really? That's what you're running with?
Donut.
The only reason why people go see these movies is because people love dinosaurs. Stop trying to sell us on this idea that people in the universe don't. It's like they're actively trying to destroy the appeal to their own franchise.
No way. No way. Where's this garbage?
I don't think that they really learned their lesson from what audiences said about Dominion. They teased this big global dinosaur integration concept and then shoved all the dinosaurs onto a secluded area again.
No! God, please, no! 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 No!
But Rebirth takes it even further and literally kills off most of the dinosaurs due to climate and environmental collapse. Where's the core theme of Jurassic Park? Where's the life finds a way philosophy? The chaos theory?
Life, finds a way.
In the original film, Ellie talks about how they chose toxic plants because they were pretty. That's one of the darkest and most brilliant details in the whole movie.
Oh, you think darkness is your ally?
And it's completely absent here. This movie forgets that the franchise was never just about cool monsters. It was about ethics and the terrifying consequences of science without foresight. In Rebirth, the dinosaurs are just sad, dying remnants of something greater. And that's a depressing direction to take a story about creatures that should inspire fear and wonder. And we really have to talk about this mutant dinosaur direction they're taking us in. Personally, I'm not the biggest fan of that route. Dinosaurs are scary enough as they are. We don't need to keep adding horns and spikes and glowing eyes to make them threatening. I don't mind the idea of a hidden facility full of failed experiments. That could be pretty cool, but not every single movie needs to be centered around these hybrids. But if you are going to go there, then at least commit to it. Rebirth should have been half about survival horror against normal dinosaurs, and then halfway through, they escape into something even worse, a nest of mutated monsters. Instead, we spend like half the movie talking about dinosaurs, 30% of it justifying the movie's own existence, and maybe 20% actually surviving the dinosaurs. That's the real issue. If you want to rebrand your franchise as Jurassic World, then show me a world where dinosaurs are actually taking over. Give me a full-on Planet of the Apes style collapse. Give me Turok, but live action. Let's see the dinosaurs win, not just to die off in the background. Give us some overgrown cities, the invasive plants Ellie warned us about, the kind of world where humans are just trying to survive the consequences of their own arrogance. Until then, I'd honestly rather just watch Camp Cretaceous or Chaos Theory. At least those shows remember why people still love this franchise. It's not about pretending that dinosaurs are boring. It's about reminding us that they're still freaking awesome.
Dinosaurs are awesome!
With that, let's get into my review.
I have a bad feeling about this.
First off, we have characters. I didn't care about any of these characters. The dialogue was flat out abysmal. I just found myself checking out emotionally every time someone opened their mouth. And despite this movie having an all-star cast, there just wasn't really anybody to root for. The painful exposition delivered by the cast of this movie leads me to give it a 9 out of 10 for characters.
Psych! That's the wrong number!
2 out of 10. And that probably sounds pretty harsh, but it's honest. Next up, we have plot. We knew going into this it wasn't going to be anything deep or revolutionary. The premise, collecting blood from 3 of the biggest dinosaurs, air, land, and sea.
Rated T for teen, Army Man, World War, land, sea, air.
It's a cool enough setup, but it's not Oscar worthy, and that's fine enough for Jurassic World. Simple concept, passable execution. 6 out of 10. For visuals, some of the dinosaurs looked really good, especially the Titanosaurs and the T-Rex. And, I guess, the D-Rex.
My other hand isn't strong enough. You take my little hand. No! Get it away from me!
But there definitely were a few weird choices. The color design on the Spinosauruses and some of the background species fell off. Almost like unused skins from Jurassic World Evolution. Not terrible, just odd. So for that, it's a 7 out of 10. The action had some standout moments. The T-Rex raft scene, the
Quetzalcoatlus
attack, and the final lab sequences are genuinely entertaining. When the movie leaned into the suspense and the spectacle, it worked. But it didn't happen a whole lot. 6 out of 10. As far as the overall experience goes, here's the truth. I was rolling my eyes through at least half of this movie. And while a few solid dinosaur spectacles help, they don't really make up for a frustrating script, weak characters, and wasted potential. 3 out of 10. So in the end, Jurassic World Rebirth is a movie with strong potential, buried under frustrating execution. The final score, 4.8 out of 10. I think there is a good dinosaur movie buried in here somewhere, but this just isn't it. At this point, the movie's been out for a couple weeks, and if you're on the fence of whether or not to go see this in theater, I suggest just waiting and renting it when it released for streaming. Go see Superman instead. Let me know your thoughts and comments below. Did you love Rebirth, or were you let down like me? If you want more Full Metal reviews, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching. Roll credits.
Well, there's credits, baby.